Gen Digital, the consumer cybersecurity platform protecting over 500 million devices globally through Norton, LifeLock, Avast, and AVG brands with antivirus, identity protection, and AI-powered digital safety.
FY 2026 revenue $5.0 billion, up 27%. FY 2027 revenue guided $5.3 to $5.4 billion.
Norton LifeLock, formerly Symantec's consumer business, merged with Avast in 2022 to create the world's largest consumer cybersecurity company, rebranding as Gen Digital to reflect the multi-brand platform strategy.
The Avast acquisition brought 250 million additional device installs, dramatically expanding Gen's addressable base beyond Norton's predominantly U.S. subscriber footprint.
Gen Digital added AI-powered scam protection and dark web monitoring across all brands in 2025, positioning the platform beyond traditional antivirus toward a broader digital life safety subscription.
Consumer security subscriptions generate over 90% of revenue. Norton and Avast antivirus, LifeLock identity protection, and VPN services bundled into tiered annual subscription plans globally.
The remaining revenue comes from direct product sales and SMB security tools. Operating margins above 50% reflect the near-zero marginal cost of software subscriptions and disciplined overhead management.
FY 2026 revenue $5.0 billion, the first $5 billion year for the combined platform. Operating margins at 51% confirm the platform's software-like efficiency.
Q4 FY 2026 revenue $1.28 billion, non-GAAP EPS 67 cents beat 65 cents. FY 2027 guidance $5.3 to $5.4 billion revenue.
McAfee and Bitdefender compete in consumer antivirus. Microsoft Defender's free inclusion in Windows is a structural competitive pressure on the base tier market.
Aura competes in identity protection with a modern SaaS approach. Malwarebytes and Iset serve value-conscious subscribers. None approaches Gen Digital's combined reach across antivirus, identity, VPN, and dark web monitoring.
Gen's moat is brand trust and bundled depth. Norton's 30-year consumer brand and LifeLock's identity theft guarantee create switching costs that pure feature competitors cannot replicate without the same trust equity.
Gen Digital operates globally. The United States and Canada generate approximately 50% of revenue, with Europe, Asia-Pacific, and Latin America contributing the balance through Avast and AVG distribution.
Avast's European presence is strongest in Germany, Czech Republic, and Eastern Europe, markets underserved by U.S.-branded security products, giving Gen Digital geographic density unavailable to Norton-only competitors.
Vincent Pilette has served as CEO of Gen Digital since May 2019. Previously CFO, he led the Norton LifeLock rebranding, the Avast acquisition, and the company's transformation into a global consumer cyber platform.
Pilette holds degrees from France and a Stanford MBA. Under his leadership, Gen crossed $5 billion in annual revenue and expanded operating margins to 51%.
Gen Digital, the consumer cybersecurity platform, $5.0 billion in FY 2026 revenue, protecting 500 million plus devices through Norton, LifeLock, Avast, and AVG with 51% operating margins.
Q4 FY 2026 revenue $1.28 billion, non-GAAP EPS 67 cents beat the 65 cent estimate. FY 2027 revenue guided $5.3 to $5.4 billion. Gen Digital's consumer cyber platform accelerating.
Gen Digital is the consumer cybersecurity company formed by the merger of Norton LifeLock and Avast in 2022. The combined company owns some of the most recognizable security brands in the world: Norton, LifeLock, Avast, AVG, CCleaner, and Reputation Defender, and serves approximately 500 million users globally, with approximately 40 million being paying subscribers. The investment thesis for Gen is that consumer cybersecurity is a recurring revenue software business with high switching costs and expanding average revenue per user as threats grow more sophisticated.
Revenue for Q1 2026 came in at $1.283 billion, above the $1.245 billion estimate, and up 27% year-over-year. The year-over-year comparison benefits meaningfully from the Avast consolidation. The prior period did not include a full quarter of Avast revenue, but even on an organic basis, management guided to mid-single-digit percentage growth, which represents acceleration from recent trends. Earnings per share of 67 cents beat the 65-cent consensus. The EPS beat reflects continued improvement in operating expense leverage as the integration of the Norton and Avast back-office functions completes.
CEO Vincent Pilette has led Gen Digital and its predecessor NortonLifeLock since 2019. His strategic vision is centered on the concept of cyber safety as a consumer subscription service, analogous to home security monitoring, where the value proposition extends beyond traditional antivirus to encompass identity protection, privacy protection, and reputation management. Pilette's execution track record includes the Avast acquisition, which has delivered more integration synergies than originally projected, and a consistent focus on converting free users of Avast and AVG products to paid Norton-branded subscriptions through targeted upsell campaigns.
The identity protection product line is the highest growth and highest margin segment within Gen Digital's portfolio. LifeLock, which Gen acquired as part of the Symantec consumer spin-off, provides real-time credit monitoring, identity theft restoration services, and dark web surveillance. The product has strong retention. Once a consumer has experienced an identity theft incident, they almost never cancel LifeLock, and the attach rate of identity protection to the core Norton security subscription has been growing. In Q1 2026, management indicated that identity protection subscriber growth was running at approximately 12% year-over-year, faster than the overall subscription base.
The Avast regulatory settlement was a significant headline risk that has now been substantially resolved. The FTC reached a settlement with Avast in 2024 over allegations that Avast had sold user browsing data to third parties without adequate disclosure. Gen Digital paid approximately $16.5 million in connection with the settlement and implemented consent mechanisms across the Avast and AVG product lines. The financial impact was manageable, but the reputational damage to the Avast brand in European markets was measurable. Gen's response has been to accelerate the migration of Avast users toward the Norton brand, which carries stronger consumer trust in security markets.
AI-powered threat detection is becoming a key marketing differentiator for Gen Digital's products. The company has integrated machine learning models into Norton's threat detection engine that analyze behavioral patterns rather than relying solely on signature-based detection of known malware. This matters because modern threats, including polymorphic ransomware and AI-generated phishing attacks, evolve faster than signature databases can be updated. Gen has invested approximately 12% of annual revenue in research and development, which is above the consumer software average, and reflects Pilette's view that technical differentiation is essential for maintaining pricing power in a market where free alternatives exist.
The competitive landscape for consumer cybersecurity has been relatively stable despite the proliferation of free alternatives. Windows Defender, Microsoft's built-in security tool, has improved meaningfully and captures a large share of the low-end market. But the paying customer base for Gen Digital is not primarily choosing between Norton and Windows Defender. It is choosing between paying for comprehensive cyber safety, identity protection, VPN, parental controls, device management, versus having no premium protection at all. The value proposition is most compelling to consumers who have experienced an identity theft incident or who manage financial accounts and sensitive personal data online.
International markets represent approximately 45% of Gen Digital's revenue, with the heaviest concentration in Europe. The European market is both an opportunity and a complexity. European consumers historically have higher privacy awareness, which aligns with Gen's product value proposition, but GDPR compliance requirements add engineering cost and limit certain data use cases that inform the personalization of security recommendations. Management has indicated that European subscriber retention rates are above 90%, which compares favorably to U.S. rates and suggests the value proposition resonates strongly in markets with high privacy awareness.
Free cash flow generation at Gen Digital is substantial and predictable. The company generates approximately $900 million to $1 billion in annual free cash flow, representing approximately a 19% FCF yield at current market capitalization. That cash flow funds the dividend, currently at an annualized rate of approximately 50 cents per share, and aggressive share buybacks. Gen has reduced its diluted share count by approximately 15% over the trailing 36 months through buybacks, which is a meaningful driver of per-share earnings growth, even as organic revenue growth is modest.
Key metrics to watch at Gen Digital: subscriber count, growth and churn rate, average revenue per user trajectory, identity protection attach rate on Norton subscriptions, and any integration cost updates related to the final Avast back-office consolidation. If ARPU continues to grow above 3% annually and churn holds below 2.5% monthly, the compounding effect on free cash flow will support continued buyback acceleration and potential dividend growth above the current rate. The Norton and LifeLock cross-sell motion is where Gen Digital extracts the most leverage from its unified platform. A customer who starts with the Norton Security Suite for device protection is presented a LifeLock identity theft protection offer at renewal, and vice versa. Management has reported that bundled customers show meaningfully higher retention rates and higher average revenue per user than single-product customers. The data science infrastructure built to analyze threat patterns from the Norton network is also being leveraged for identity monitoring, creating a technical moat that's difficult to replicate from scratch. The combined database of threat intelligence is now one of the largest in the consumer cybersecurity industry.
The Avast FTC settlement process has been a regulatory overhang that the market has been tracking closely. Avast was acquired by Norton LifeLock before the Gen Digital rebrand, and the FTC took issue with certain Avast data practices from prior to the acquisition. Gen Digital has been cooperating with the review and has implemented data practice changes across the Avast product suite. Management has indicated the financial exposure is manageable and has reserved appropriately for expected outcomes. Once this process resolves, it removes a meaningful uncertainty discount that has weighed on the stock's multiple relative to pure-play software peers.
Subscription economics are the core of the Gen Digital investment thesis. The company has over 40 million paid subscribers globally, and the annual retention rate for established subscribers is well above 85%. That retention profile means the business generates highly predictable cash flow, which management has used aggressively to pay down debt from the Norton LifeLock and Avast acquisitions. With the balance sheet deleveraging largely complete, free cash flow is increasingly available for shareholder returns. Gen Digital pays a dividend that yields over 3% and has been buying back shares opportunistically. For investors seeking defensive cash flow with a consumer tech overlay, Gen Digital offers a differentiated profile.
The international revenue opportunity for Gen Digital represents a meaningful untapped market. The company generates roughly 40% of its revenue outside the United States, with particularly strong positions in Western Europe and Australia. Emerging markets in Latin America and Southeast Asia are growing regions where smartphone penetration and internet connectivity have expanded the addressable market for consumer cybersecurity, but monetization rates remain below mature market levels. Management is investing in localized product offerings and partnership distribution to improve penetration in these markets. Over the next 3 to 5 years, international mix improvement toward higher monetization geographies could be a meaningful driver of average revenue per user expansion beyond what domestic market dynamics alone would support.
Everything on Charged Alpha is financial education and analysis, not personalized investment advice. Past performance does not predict future results. Always do your own research, understand your risk tolerance, and speak with a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Ooh-wee-doo! That ticker tape starts dancing fast. A bull market thrill that's built to last. Dividends are ringing up the swing. Listen to that sweet ka-ching. It's a Wall Street swing. That fast-paced rhythm makes you sing. Yeah, the Wall Street swing.